is the Fantasy Alarm NBA DFS show with Jon Impemba and James Grande.
What is going on, everybody? Jon Impemba here with James Grande. Welcome to the Fantasy Alarm NBA DFS Playbook Preview Show. This is New Year's Day 2024, kicking off with a 6-game NBA DFS main slate. Happy New Year here, James.
Happy New Year, brother.
You ready to go?
I am 6 games to kick off the new year. We have the stars are out, bringing us into the new year here. John, Luka, Jokic, Giannis, Halliburton coming off back-to-back 2020 games. One of 4 players who ever do so,
we get the lovely Pacers Bucks again.
Pacers-Bucks again. That is going to be fireworks.
Those were 270 game totals, I think they were.
270 like game totals. Halliburton coming off the 2020s. I don't know if you saw, he was talking smack to one Wally Szczerbiak. I don't know if you remember last year. Wally Szczerbiak had some things to say.
Oh, like a fake All-Star or something like that?
Yeah, fake All-Star. And the Knicks, that Knicks game was the first time Clyde Frazier doesn't travel with the Knicks broadcast anymore. So Szczerbiak was Mike Breen's partner for that game. Yeah. And Halliburton was chirping him. It was a lot of fun. So I like that edge out of Halliburton. I like that edge going into this game against Milwaukee. So fun slate to kick off the new year.
This is the first time you and I have been on the show since the blockbuster Woj bomb.
True.
That dropped on Saturday with the Toronto Raptors trading OG Anunoby and Precious Achiuwa and Malachi Flynn to the New York Knicks for a package that was RJ Barrett and cash draft picks.
Quickly Barrett.
Quickly won that deal too. It's a big deal.
Yeah, it is. Quickly Barrett, cash, and they got a second round pick from Detroit. It was a Detroit second round pick. I think it's a great deal for both teams because you and I have talked a lot this month. The Knicks have not been able to defend anybody.
Right.
They haven't been able to stop anybody. They also have a spacing issue that I don't think Quickly or Barrett really fix, especially Barrett. Barrett regressed shooting the three a lot this year, 33%, and he was a 40% shooter a couple of years ago. OG is exactly I said this to I messaged Justin Fensterman, former Fantasy Alarm, who's a Knicks fan, and I said Bibbs is gonna turn OG Anunoby into Luol Deng, he's like a Luol Deng replica, where they're 6'7", 6'8" wings that Bibbs can just run into the ground for 40 minutes a night, and then his career is going to be cut short because he's played too many minutes for the last 7 years. But I think this fits perfectly because then Barrett and Quickly also just get to go play ball, right? I don't think Gary Trent is going to upset them.
See who loses out here. Do they immediately go to a starting lineup that has Quickly and Barrett replacing Trent and OG, or does Schroeder go back as the starting point guard and Quickly and Trent are your backups off the bench? We don't even really know if they're going to be ready for this game. I don't know if you've seen any notes on that yet. I haven't seen any updates. Toronto could be shorthanded here once again in this matchup against Cleveland. I do see that DraftKings at least has them on the roster, which is nice. We won't have that big red banner being you can't play these guys because they're not on the right team.
Right.
So I'm very curious to see if they will be available or not. Obviously, it's only been a couple of days, the holidays, the travel, and all that other stuff here. They also have to go to Toronto. I don't know. Barrett's not going to have any issues there. He's Canadian. Right. But maybe Quickly's got to get passport things. I have no idea. So, we'll see. We'll see if they're available or not. If not, we did see what that rotation looks like for Toronto when they only had a handful of guys available to them. And that was heavy minutes for Trent. That was heavy minutes for Schroeder. Pearl had a big night. Scotty Barnes and Pascal Siakam, they ran, 5 guys and a couple of guys off the bench, and that was that. So they have Toronto, Cleveland here. You mentioned Pacers, Bucks running it back. Detroit ending their 28-game losing streak against the Toronto Raptors there. They gave the Utah Jazz. Utah's at home in that one. Sorry, you have Houston. Houston's at home. I would have feeling that they're going to begin a new losing streak here on a Monday. Dallas versus Utah. You have there Charlotte, Denver, and Portland, Phoenix. Is the rest of the slate here. We'll see what Portland's got available to them after being without a couple of their players now the last few games. Let's get into our slate breakdown here. Game by position is the way we're going to go. Starting here off at the point guard position, we do have the one, Luka Doncic. He is 11-9. He's coming off of a 70 fantasy point game. He had 97 fantasy points a few games prior to that, 79 fantasy points the game before that. So 3 of the last 4, 70 plus, including a near 100 fantasy point game. And then you have the aforementioned Tyrese Halliburton, 70, 65, 61, 61 at $1,600 cheaper on the DraftKings slate. You can't go wrong, obviously, with either two. I guess, is it if Kyrie's back, then maybe you don't go the Luka way? Like, what's your opinion of the top 2 guards here?
I mean, like, yeah. If Kyrie doesn't play, I think it's clear cut for Halliburton because I'm already not so much leaning that way to begin with, but this is going to be one of the best. This is like, if not the best game environment we could possibly have. It's second, right? Like between Indiana and Atlanta would probably be number 1, considering they went for 7 bajillion points or whatever was scored in that game. So, if Halliburton's going to continue to do this, and Indiana's going to continue to make shots the way they have, because they've obviously, for someone to have 20 assists in back-to-back games, he has to have a lot of made shots around him. Right. They've scored 120 points in 3 straight games or better. So there's obviously a case for Luka and a chance he goes for 100 without Kyrie. But like $1,600 less, you can get Tyrese Halliburton. Sign me up for that, coming off back-to-back 70s. And in now the best spot of, like, he went for 70. The Knicks spot was great. The Bulls spot wasn't. The Bulls spot was slow, and the Bulls aren't terribly bad defensively.
Yeah, we don't have a line yet, obviously, at the time of our recording here today.
250 plus.
250 plus easy, right? Easy, so, I think you're right there. No matter what, Milwaukee's defense against point guards has been abysmal. Doesn't matter really the point guard they're facing. So, can't imagine Halliburton's going to be the one to have the down spot here. Under them, you have Donnie Mitch at $9,500, Devin Booker 98. So I just glanced by him. Scotty Barnes, Dame's under 9K now, $8,900. Cade Cunningham at $8,700 in a obviously tough spot, but he's been playing out of his mind here lately. Thoughts on like this next tier A of plays?
Definitely okay getting Devin Booker. Phoenix, the only team on a back-to-back. We'll see if there's any injury designation coming into Monday slate. They usually play their guys, but with how banged up they've kind of been, especially with Bradley Beal, we'll see who's in, who's out. But you can see, like, even with Bradley Beal in, I mean, one of these guys can always pop. It's just going to be who. Devin Booker, 54 fantasy points with Bradley Beal in that lineup. So we'll see how they get their Sunday's game. Donovan Mitchell is just...
You talk about it all the time.
I mean, dude, when he has the team to himself, there's just few players who do more than him on a fantasy.
The only thing that's really holding him back from being like, I don't even want to say like elite numbers, is like when Harden and Westbrook had the teams to themselves, they were triple doubling, right? Yeah. And giving you 35 and 30. Yeah. Like, he got the double. He's come close to it last time against Milwaukee as well. If he was that kind of player, he would be priced with Luka right now, right? Or Halliburton, right? But instead, you're getting a little bit of a discount because he's not out there giving you double doubles on the regular. He is scoring 30 plus actual, though. Yep. And again, if Toronto is down to 8-9 guys, and that backcourt rather, is Gary Trent, Dennis Schroeder, and not OG Anunoby defending him, he's going to feast.
Yes.
He's just going to do whatever the heck he wants in this spot.
Yeah, I mean, I would put him on the same tier as Halliburton, if
sure,
because I mean $9,500 is too cheap for him with the team to himself. Like it just flat out is. Because although you're right, like there were times those guys were priced 13K when that was happening, and now we're getting Donovan Mitchell under 10K, who's still 15 steal or 15 assists and rebounds last game. I'm okay if he's giving us 30 at at 9,500. So sign me up for Donovan Mitchell, who off a 11-day absence due to whatever the illness was, plays 36 minutes. There's no limit there. I mean, who's to say he doesn't play?
We got to let him know, and he goes for 61.
And he goes for 60. Yeah, he let us know. He let us know.
He let us know he's fine. He's good to go here.
The other guys, like, Scotty, obviously you can get to Lillard, 89. It's a great.
We did get the Van Vliet game. I asked you about this without Jabari Smith, right? And no Dylan Brooks. Where are we going to get a Fred Van Vliet, usage increase here? Because he did have a decent usage rate with those guys off the floor, and 33, 3, and 10 for Fred Van Vliet goes for 58 at $7,900. Now he gets Detroit, and those two guys aren't going to be on the floor again, possibly. Gotta think this is looking like a good Fred Van Vliet spot. It just, I guess the question is like, how long does Detroit hang in this game, and does he play minutes in the blowout? If it even becomes a blowout, I would imagine this game is probably going to be 8.5 to 11.5 point spread when it comes out.
I feel like Vegas usually disrespects Houston, and we're like, why? Houston's home, like they win at home, right? Yeah. But yeah, I'd assume so. And Jabari and Dylan Brooks are both out. That's already confirmed. Like it's Van Vliet, it's Şengün, Tari Eason limited doesn't hurt. Right. I assume that's going to continue because not that we didn't know there was like obviously some type of limitations, but we got a hard cap.
Yeah, he was on a back-to-back there, so that that might have had something to do too. I guess we should see, are any of these teams on the front legs of back-to-backs?
Only Phoenix.
Phoenix is on a front leg.
Oh no, you're right. Phoenix on the second. Let's see, front leg. Charlotte. Charlotte.
Okay, that's good to know. I guess they have Denver. So
Denver at Sacramento on Tuesday.
Okay,
tough 2-game stretch there.
They play other guys no matter what.
they do.
Speaking of Denver, you do have Jamal Murray here, who's been playing some really good ball, and he's got Charlotte. So I definitely like that spot.
Sure. Agreed.
Had this matchup, went for 50 against them. So
he did.
Yeah, sign me up for some Jamal Murray at 81. If everybody's out, how are you feeling about Brogdon? I mean, the dude's playing a bajillion minutes right now and scoring the basketball. Assuming Simons and Sharp and the whole crew are out again, this is too low of a price tag right now for Malcolm Brogdon.
Yes, I would say him and Scoot Henderson are both elite plays. Being Scoot 61 and Brogdon 78. If they're playing all the minutes they both can handle, like I got to assume Simons is the guy to like play, because he's been going through an illness, but I guess we've seen Donovan Mitchell sat out 11 days for an illness, so I guess you never know. But if I had to guess, he would be the one to return. If they're all out again, fire them both up, no issues, core plays, all that jazz.
Yeah, for sure. Colin Sexton, Exum's down here, Schroeder, obviously. Guys in the 6K range. Do you have a favorite outside of Scoot Henderson? Bradley Beal played 30 minutes in that game. Still not really paying off the price point here.
I mean, it would be Scoot, obviously, if everyone's out at 61. We don't know what's going to happen with, you're right, there's no reporting on the Toronto side of things, so we don't know when they're going to make their debut. We don't know what the starting lineup's going to be. You have to assume eventually Quickly is going to start over Schroeder. I mean, that's my assumption. They moved Schroeder to the bench. They wanted to change that lineup, and I don't think, like, suddenly like, well, OG's not here, we changed the lineup. Like, no, OG wasn't the issue. OG is your best perimeter defender, and like that wasn't the concern. So I assume Quickly's the starter. Now, how quickly that happens remains to be seen. If Schroeder's starting, we'd have to have interest. Those
guys were all out again. You're getting 38 minutes from them.
Yeah, starting without them active is one thing. Starting with them active is another, because 100%. There's definitely going to be a little bit of a sketchiness to it if they're starting, but Quickly is available and Barrett's available, and then you're like, well, these guys might be better than the starters. So
Right.
then I would have some hesitations. Exum's fine.
Exum will bench.
Yeah, I mean, he's fine. He's been super consistent.
Irving has to be out for that for me.
But Irving has to be out. They said they're all going to start, but like obviously he's 19 points a game with Kyrie and Luka on the floor is very unlikely.
Agreed. Keontae George looked pretty damn good the other day. 33 actual for him, a 21-6. I mean, can all three guards exist on this team?
I mean,
or is it just going to be like musical chairs?
We thought Clarkson's minutes were secure, and now 24 and 25 the last two games. So
it's actually the secure play at the moment. So like
whoever's playing well just plays, right? And whoever's not, I mean, dude, that is the most nightmare situation of all time. So yeah, if you want to take a shot on one of these Utah guys, Dallas is not the best defensive team.
He, however, is
he's dead.
He's dead. Yeah. Where are we going next?
Trent,
anybody? Shooting guard?
I mean, point guard. Well, Trent, if he starts,
they just don't play Killian Hayes anymore. By the way,
they don't.
Also X'd. So
Nembhard was really good the other night. Very contrarian. Everyone played Indiana. Super popular that Knicks Indiana game on the Saturday slate. Nembhard was a really good contrarian play. 33 minutes again in the starting lineup. 30 fantasy points. He's 53. Obviously TBD on quickly. That's it.
Okay. Over at the shooting guard position, a lot of guys we have discussed already. One guy maybe we didn't think too enough of.
Yeah, it did, and the usage rate was insane. But it was the price, John. Let's just be serious. He had sucked.
Yeah.
And then the price sucked. Yeah. For no reason, the price was like $1,000 more. Because I know exactly because you were looking at the Van Vliet, you were touting the Van Vliet number. So I know you had to see the Jalen Green usage rate.
I did. Yeah.
And we both just ignored. But like he had sucked flat out. Like he had really been playing bad. He had really been playing poorly. He was getting benched. Udoka was just like, dude, you need to be better or you're not playing. And he wasn't playing well. And then
they had no Jabari, no Dylan Brooks, and
he goes crazy. And he goes crazy.
He goes crazy.
This was the Kevin Porter thing last year.
It was.
Every time Kevin Porter didn't play, we were like, oh, fire up Jalen Green because he got 1,000,000% usage rate and he scores all these points. And he did both those things.
Are you going back to the Jalen Green well at $7,200?
The hilarious thing is going to be what's like, wow, the usage rate, the fantasy points per minute, blah, blah, blah. He's been great the last two games, and he's going to be inconsistent again because that's what he's been all year. I think.
By the way, we keep mentioning his usage rate, but we haven't spoke about his usage rate. His usage rate, without Dylan Brooks and Jabari Smith on the floor, is 38%.
And the bump, what's the bump? It's like plus 14, isn't it? Isn't it like
it's plus 10.7.
That's crazy.
Over double what Fred VanVleet, who was number 2 at nearly a 5% usage.
That's crazy. That is a crazy bump and usage rate combination. Like it's crazy.
It's like he begins. It's almost as if he's the only man on the floor when those two are off the floor. I mean, this isn't like a 3-minute sample size. It's like the 4th most minutes of any regular on the team. So like 38% usage rate against Detroit.
Gotta consider it.
That's interesting.
Yeah. He's in play. He's
those
firmly
numbers
in play.
are hard to ignore.
Firmly in play.
Speaking of hard to ignore, back-to-back double-doubles for Chris Middleton.
He's very good. He's very good at basketball. We've been trying to say that for a long time. That like, I'm just happy they have his price correct. Not even correct yet. It's probably still too cheap. Like it should probably be settling in between $7,500 to like $8,000 and just sit there for the rest of the year. So, on a night where he struggles offensively to score, you can see what he can do for this team and how he unlocks it in other places.
He's averaging 35 fantasy points against them while playing just 26 minutes a night because he had been limited during those games.
Yeah, he's really good at basketball.
I mean, if he plays 34 minutes in this game, maybe he goes for 45.
Yep. 50. Shooting guard, small forward, eligibility is great.
Elite eligibility.
Yep.
we're going to try to find ways to play. I think a lot of this matchup, anyways, as will most of the slate here. THJ, Strus, Brandon Miller, Ivy floor game. Unfortunately, against Toronto, there got the minutes, but didn't really come through production wise. Where are we going next?
I mean, Hardaway's fine for tournaments if there's no Kyrie. He's been scoring the basketball really, really well lately. And that's all you can ask for. And the peripheral stats have actually been okay for THJ. So Hardaway probably for me of this tier. It is interesting if Shaedon Sharpe plays at 6,600. We have not seen his price that cheap in some time. In fact, like early November sometime would be like when his price. I know the production has obviously fallen off, but
Simons came back and just took all of his shots.
Yeah, it would at least be mildly interesting.
But if Simons is out and Sharpe is in, I agree with you. I mean, I don't think he would be limited at all. Like they just kind of play these guys. So.
Yep, agreed. So I would just and TBD on Bradley Beal on the second leg of a back-to-back because Vogel spoke like there's a minutes plan for Bradley Beal. We have a plan, and he played 30 minutes off the rip. Like I get it. I know you said he wasn't productive, but
I mean, yeah, he really wasn't yet, but he could be. Again, pick the right Jordan Clarkson day. Karis LeVert's down here, as you mentioned. Like if Beal does sit, Gordon and Allen obviously become pretty good plays here. So
they got the back-to-back bump obviously at Grayson Allen 6,200 and Eric Gordon 5,800. RJ Barrett shooting guard eligibility, by the way, here in Toronto.
Yep.
They just gave him OGs. They just said, "Here, you're going to be OG for this team." So here's his eligibility too. Here's eligibility.
At least we'll be used to like playing a lot of minutes, like.
Dude, I'm actually excited for that. He's going to play like mid-30s minutes for this team, right? You think? I think
won't get pulled for Quentin Grimes or anything like that.
Won't get pulled for Quentin
Grimes. Anyways, moving our way down. Anybody else down here? What's the what did KCP do the other day? There's 27 minutes in that game.
They got blown out.
Yeah.
They all.
Was not their night.
No, it was not. Second leg of a back-to-back.
Yeah.
SGA had 40 actual.
Cody Martin played 27 minutes.
Wow, on a back-to-back, huh?
Mm-hmm. They limited him in the front. Played him a big minutes in the second leg, even though it was both ends here.
We have statuses on Hayward out, LaMelo out, Mark Williams probably still. We don't have. I mean, he's gonna probably be listed as doubtful because he's listed as doubtful like every slate. Yeah. I mean, he's gonna play. He's gonna play that many minutes in a competitive setting.
Right. The two. I mean, 25 and 27. The 20 in here is kind of unfortunate, but you did say Charlotte's the only team that's on the back-to-back, right?
On the front leg.
And he played 20 minutes on the front leg, so I guess that is something to at least watch. Tate played 35, didn't do anything because the usage rate around everybody, the minutes were at least there for him.
I mean, he is not. He's a zero. Like, he's one of those dudes that I would just take a shot on someone else.
Alec Burks is back in the rotation.
I mean, he should be.
26, 30, and then 19 minutes here.
Just a bucket.
He is a bucket. I'd give him some tournament looks, I think.
I hope he gets traded, by the way.
Yeah, he should. Anywhere else here?
I don't.
He'd be great off the Boston bench.
Oh yeah, here. Move on. Get me out of this talk already. We're going to Boston. Yeah, Boston. The rich get richer, huh? Just Alec Burks and as an option when
you know where he's really going to go though is Philadelphia. So,
I mean, dude, the Knicks not only got a good player, also got him away from. I've been telling you forever. I thought OG to Philly was like a perfect marriage, and
it's going to be very interesting to see the ripple effect of that deal, right? And
I mean, Pascal is going to be dealt,
right? And what other teams now feel like they have to make moves because the Knicks just made a big splash.
Yep.
But getting rid of RJ Barrett is kind of, maybe that was just a Thibodeau thing, not really giving him an opportunity to flourish there. But
I think, dude, I just think that you think about the construction of that team with the way that Brunson and Randall drive. Now, you have Barrett shooting 30% from three, everyone's collapsing on Barrett and Randall, whereas OG is shooting they showed this corner 3 stats on all those guys. Quickly was at like 30% for the last 3 years. Barrett's been at like 30%. OG's like 50% from the corners. Like,
Yeah.
how are you going to come off of him to help on Brunson? Like, now you just have like a 50% 3-point shooter from the corner. Like, that's just going to unlock, I think, a lot of things for the Knicks. I do agree. Barrett just kind of fell victim to, I think, their roster, but OG fits that. Like, I think fits that team like a glove. I don't know if the casual NBA fan, like, not you, I'm just saying, like, doesn't realize how good he can be for them. Where, like, well, RJ Barrett was the 2nd overall pick for us. Like, what are we doing? Like, it's like, yeah, but like you see, he's just kind of find his way out of.
Yeah, he's a slasher, right? And they don't need all these slashers, you know.
No, exactly.
Scotty Barnes up here at 9K. Of course, we would have no issues paying that price point. Lauri Markkanen down game for him against Miami. Only 26 minutes in that game. Had 4 fouls as well. In a game that they won 117-109. Are you shook at all by that, or you just kind of dust it off and go right back to him here against Dallas?
Dude, it's 8K.
I know.
It's a great price. It's a great price. I mean, not shook at all. Like that's a great price. That's a great price tag. He gets benched and has foul trouble. Like, so be it, right? Like, it happens to everybody. Like, this guy went for back-to-back 50 bombs at high 8s, and then like one bad game, he's $700 less than he was 4 slates ago. Like, sure, sign me up for that.
I agree. And what's the Dallas front court again here? It's Grant Williams and
they're starting. Well, if Kyrie's back, Exum at the 3,
true.
Jones Jr. at the 4, and
Lively
at the 5. Yeah.
Of course, Milton is here. MPJ is here as well against Charlotte. He had 37 fantasy points, a couple of down games for Michael Porter Jr. But as long as Aaron Gordon's out of the lineup, there's obviously some spots for him to be successful. Bojan keeps shooting, does his Bojan thing at $6,400. Tari Eason here at 63. He was limited, but he played 27 minutes and gave you 37 fantasy points. So,
yep, some limit.
Yeah, no,
some limit. Good limit.
Yeah, good limit. Against Detroit, I mean, if he's starting, they started Jeff Green. And Jeff Green actually, what do you have, like 20 actual in that game? So annoying.
I just almost cursed because of Jeff Green scored.
Yeah.
I literally almost cursed. No, he had 10 actual. He had 19 actual. He had 19 fantasy points.
19 fantasy points. All right.
He played 33. He played 33 minutes, which is insane. But we've seen it all year, right? Like, DeAndre Jordan played 40 minutes.
Yeah.
DeAndre Drummond's played 40 minutes in 2 of his last 3. Like, there's
So Easton's in a great spot here.
He is in a great
$300, especially not being on a back-to-back at all, not on the front leg or back end, not even with an injury designation. Like, this is a really good spot.
Now, Houston does have like 4 games this week, and they do have a back-to-back later in the week. So if there's going to be like a limit, it's probably
going to preemptively rest Tari Eason this week.
No, I mean, just probably they have a Minnesota-Milwaukee back-to-back Friday, Saturday. It's probably one of those games where he's like maybe limited, but I would say this Monday, Wednesday slate of games, probably he's not limited at all.
Okay. A lot of these other guys we have already discussed. Anybody here that you have any additional interest in on that we haven't talked too much in depth on?
Yeah, I mean, so as a tournament pivot on Saturday, I played Aaron Nesmith over at chalky Jalen Smith, and because Nesmith is starting again, and they're using him as the 3, Jalen Smith as the 4, and yes, he didn't miss a shot. I understand that. He made all of his shots. He had 7 threes. He didn't really do much peripherally, but like, Aaron Nesmith has a lot of upside when he's making shots. And John, Aaron Nesmith is shooting 48% from 3 this year. 48% from 3.
Seems decent.
It's really, really good. So if he's going to continue to space the floor for point guard that has 20 assists in back-to-back games in the best game environment on the board, Aaron Nesmith, who now has small forward eligibility, is firmly in play, even at 5,100. I know he was 47 last slate, and that was a little like better of a price to get to, but yeah, I would definitely have some interest in Nesmith here.
Anybody else here for you?
I don't think so. Sir Thompson, 12 minutes because, that's what they do. Cam Whitmore DMP'd in that game. No, I don't think there's much else.
Yep, I'm with you. Power forward. Again, this is just a 6-game main slate here. Giannis at 11K. Kevin Durant at 10-1. Your top 2 price guys. Durant really putting together some good games here. Giannis, of course, we know what he's more than capable of doing. He's averaging 75 fantasy points in 3 games against the Pacers here. Which leads me to ask you, where does Giannis rank among the top overall spend-ups on this slate for you? Is he number 1?
So he had the 50 ball against them the first game, where Dame didn't play. It was 11-9. Dame didn't play in that game. Giannis went for 54. Actual.
You saw what he did the last time they played.
He also scored the season high thus far, and the other game he scored a 37. So safe to assume this is a Jalen Brunson versus the Bucks situation, but reverse.
Correct.
Where there is nothing Indiana can possibly do to stop him.
There are 0 men on the Pacers current roster.
Dude, and they're starting Jalen Smith now, who we know, he's a good player. I think Jalen Smith has kind of just in bad situations, but he's super foul happy. What is Jalen Smith going to do here? And then they're going to put Nesmith on him, and they're going to put
Isaiah Jackson on him.
They're going to put Isaiah Jackson on him. There's going to just be trouble anywhere.
Was that the 18 free throw game?
The first one, he had
24 of 32 from the line.
And I think the first one, he had an insane free throw game. He had 16 of 18.
Yeah, 16 of 18.
There's just nothing that they're going to do.
16 of 18.
11
of 13, and then 24 of 32. He took 32 free throws.
Him and Halliburton got to be number 1 and 2. For me, 1 and 2 with a bullet in whatever order you want to.
I think Giannis is 1 for me.
No problem.
If you play them both, you got 4,800 to play. So
we haven't covered boy Giannis much this year, John. I think this is a good cover boy slot for him.
I agree with you. No disrespect to the rest of the power forward center. Because Nikola Jokic is against Charlotte at the center spot, but I still play Giannis over him here. Again, Pascal Siakam, great play, great production, great price, great minutes, great matchup ish. I'm fine, sure, okay.
Yep.
You want to do that? Go more Jeremy Grant. If people are out, good, great.
Barry has looked really good the last 2 games.
Right. People are out. Certainly happy to go there. No problemo. We talked to Eason, Bobby Poe off the bench. Peyton Watson's up to $5,400.
Geez, that's so annoying. So he's been super good in his 2 spot starts, and there's no reason to think he doesn't start again.
No, he's probably still too cheap at $5,400, honestly. Yeah,
as long as he's making shots. And you saw the peripheral stats, the defensive stats is what he's known for. And so probably can still get to Peyton Watson for
sure. Any value power forwards down here? Jabari Walker playing big old minutes right now.
Yeah, if they still have the center rotation that they have, then yes on Jabari Walker for sure.
Anybody else? Kevin Knox. Do you see Kevin Knox started? Played 31 minutes, had 27 fantasy points.
What are we doing?
If Kevin Knox starts again at 4,200,
is Beef Stew out? Do we have Beef Stew news? Beef Stew's out. He's expected to miss 10 to 14 days.
Do you play some Kevin Knox here?
He's matched up against Jeff Green. Who's also priced right this. Possibly.
This isn't the only. We've seen this.
They won. They won. He's going to do this. They're playing the same rotation. They won a game.
Yeah.
He's playing 30 minutes again. They're like, hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Right. Did he even let Boucher play? Not even.
No, they sure didn't.
No, they didn't. They just poor man. I wish he was traded. Just give him a shot. All right, center. Yeah, they didn't play Jalen McDaniels either. I was like, Why? Jalen McDaniels
16
is
minutes,
so good.
17 minutes. Yeah, I know
Dude,
they
he was
just
so good with Charlotte that year, and they just traded him away, and then everybody's traded for him, and nobody has played him. Sixers didn't play him.
rot on the Phillies bench. Yep.
Raptors aren't playing him. It doesn't make any sense. All right, center again. $300 more expensive is the Joker here. I see no reason to play him. I don't know, man. Do you? Given
No
who's
reason
on this,
to play him.
he's 11-3. He's more expensive than two other guys in the slate that I would play over him.
Yeah, I mean, if this game, there's this game obviously has one of the biggest chance of not staying competitive.
Yeah,
in Denver, friending back to back.
I'm not saying he can't go for the same amount of points, but I'd rather just play the other.
He's like fifth. He's like, who would you rather play, him or Donovan Mitchell? Team to himself. I'd probably play Donovan Mitchell.
Right now, Jokic is giving you the same numbers almost in terms of overall fantasy production.
For $2,000 cheaper.
What's your projected rostership on him? Do you think 5%?
Less than 10%. Okay. As a contrarian play, if you want to get to Jokic, because again, Giannis, Halliburton, Mitchell, Luka, all gonna get all the other top spends are gonna get all the ownership.
Sure.
So if you want to be contrarian and play Jokic, by all means, like why not just play Şengün? Why not just
these numbers look a lot like Jokic's the last 4 games. 64, 65, then a dud. And then
because the blowout. Well, because the Phoenix blowout. They got blown out and he only plays 29 minutes. He had 36 fantasy points in 29 minutes. But if he plays another 5, he could get 50. He could get a 50 ball.
Yep. Agreed. Working our way down. Jared Allen's been an absolute monster.
Jared Allen has been an
absolute monster. We're gonna go with Jakob Poeltl in this game. I was worried about this spot because this guy Donovan Mitchell's back. Like, what will we get? Yeah,
Milwaukee's front court.
Right.
Didn't matter.
30
actual 30. 15 of 17 from the floor.
30 back-to-back 17 shot games.
The assists, 6, and 7 assists in the last 3 games too.
Is everybody just looking at like it would Embiid and Joker's doing? Like, I can do that. No, I'll run it. You go do whatever you want, Donovan Mitchell.
40 minutes for Jared Allen.
I mean, Jakob Poeltl's not an issue defensively. So, like, Jared Allen's in a real good spot, man.
I mean, he did that against Brook Lopez, who was finished second in Defensive Player of the Year last year.
Yeah. Look at what he did against Drummond. 19-17.
Yeah.
Drummond had 24 and 23 in that game, but
he sure did.
Drummond also had a monster game on Saturday.
Something to note. I tweeted about it. I clicked on Drummond, just throwing it out there. I clicked on him because he was playing in another guy who can't move. But
yeah, I said that in the on the Underdog Battle Royal video I did. You know what? We're gonna go Drummond here because Paul Reed ain't stretching the floor like Miles Turner. So
anytime you get Miles Turner, nope, Drummond. See you later.
The game started, and I think they started Drummond off at 8 rebounds, just like it's like a spread.
Yeah,
because I felt like I just clicked refresh and he already had it. I was like,
yeah, he did.
It's 4 minutes off the clock. What happened here? He just had every rebound and that possibly was going his way.
Yep.
So yeah, Jared Allen, absolute smash spot. You got Nurkic in Portland here again. The double revenge. He's averaging 40 against his old team. If you want to do that, I don't think Turner's done well in this. I lied. They're 42 fantasy.
Dude, he's been awesome. He's been so good lately. More consistent than
I thought he had struggled. Maybe it was just one game he had a tough day. He had 52
in-season tournament day.
I guess not. As low as 38. I thought he had one bad game here, but obviously not. He had a 52 fantasy point game in the in-season tournament. So I still don't think I'd play him at that point.
No, because you just played Jalen Duren at 67, who continues.
Yeah. I played him the other day, 18 and 17. That's a pretty good spot for him there. You can play Poeltl if they don't have anybody active there. I mean, again, not like
the 4 shots, obviously.
4 shots, it's not great. Not great there. Brolo, Walker Kessler, what's his minutes been looking like 23 again?
But yeah,
Kelly O had a big day the other day.
Yeah, it was insane. The Kelly O game was. Where were you during the Kelly O game?
Seriously, Peyton Watson got dual position eligibility. That's good for him. Anybody else?
For no reason. I just don't understand that. I don't think so. What did Baji play? Only 10 minutes as the backup center because they just played. Yeah, there's nothing. Landell, he's playing now, but no, there's nothing.
All right, let's build a lineup.
Giannis. Let's plug Giannis.
Yeah. You want him at center or power forward?
I don't know. Doesn't matter. Center.
Okay.
Center.
I wasn't sure if you were gonna go like Jared Allen or something there.
Eason, that's true. Eason 63 seems like a really good one.
Yeah. Let's play this out. Giannis, Allen, Eason. Do you want to do Peyton Watson?
We can, yeah. Nembhard to get some Indiana exposure because I know we just can't afford Halliburton in this lineup. Nembhard 53 has been starting. They stink against guards.
We probably need, at least for now, a Toronto guy in here until we figure out if they're in or out, right?
We also don't have a lot of money to spend anywhere.
Yeah, there's what do I?
Jayshawn Tate would probably be he's 46. You can't even.
There's Alec Burks.
44.
Want to do Burks?
Yeah, that's fine.
In the rotation. 48.50 doesn't really do too much, but does give us Trent was 56. Dunn,
Martin,
Beasley, Cody. We'll take a shot on him.
I just don't know what the
value is for YouTube. No, I agree. And then
Smith,
Smith right there.
We didn't mention Jalen Smith at 52, but it's gonna be
I plugged in Jared Allen because I think he's been a monster, but we could obviously save some money, go to Durant or something like that.
Yeah, agreed.
All right, just an example lineup for everybody: Nembhard, Burks, Eason, Giannis, Allen, Martin, Watson, and Nesmith, giving you guys a little bit of that Milwaukee, Indiana stack here for everybody. Get us on the Discord. If you have any questions, find us over on Twitter as well. As always, we'll be back live 5 o'clock Eastern time to break down all the news and notes from throughout the day. Catch us there. We'll see you later.